So we have cabbage steaks on the menu this week. And I'm going to show you how I cut out my cabbage steaks just to make it even. I'm doing probably about 20 of these cabbage steaks. So needless to say, cutting 20 of them to prep them for us to get ready to saute them and do everything that we need to do to put on the menu this week is going to take a minute. So let me show you a little bit about some of the things that I've done and what I think helps make your cabbage steaks just a little even and good. So once you've picked your cabbage, what you typically want to do is pull the leaves off. I always pull the outer leaves, a couple of layers, because you don't know how long this has been in the grocery store and how many people have been touching it. So I usually pull off about 2, maybe 3 of the outer layers, still trying to keep everything intact as best as I can. And then I'm going to wash it really, really good and make sure I get any grit and dirt off of it. So rinse it off really, really good, and then you're ready to start cutting it. I'm going to be using my electric knife. Once again, because I have an injury, it's going to be cute. This is not necessarily going to be totally easy, but it can keep me from cutting my fingers among everything else. You want to make sure you got a steady hand with it, and also try to position myself that I can see all the way down so that I can keep it even. Perfect size. I don't want it too thick and also don't want it too thin. You want to try to make sure you have all of them about the same size, because when you're cooking them, if you have different sizes, then one's going to get ready before the other. So I've already done a full tray of these. So I have a couple of more that I'm going to do. I'm going to cut and get them ready, and then I'm going to show you how I usually season. Let me show you what they look like. And then we're going to actually start seasoning. All right. So I have a total of 3 trays of, can you see it? There you go. 3 trays of these. Now, what I'm going to do is, I usually like to cook mine, it depends on how, if you like your cabbage soft or if you like it soggy. I like mine with a little bit of texture, because a lot of times, like I said, when we're doing it for the meals, you're probably going to have to heat it up again, and so it's going to cook again. So I usually try to keep them tender, or a little thickness to them, so that way when you warm it up in the microwave again and it cooks again, it'll be the perfect temperature. I usually do each side for maybe about 5-10 minutes, give or take, maybe 8, and then I'll put the sauce and the seasonings and the olive oil on top, and then I'll flip it halfway through so that way it's evenly coated. So now I'm getting ready to make my oil mixture that I'm going to baste it with all of my seasonings. I'm going to show you what's in that, put it in the oven, and then I will be back. So literally, what I've done is now I'm basting all of it with my seasonings. This is a mixture of my ghee butter, which anybody who knows me knows, that's like the only butter that I typically use. Ghee is your clarified butter. It's at its butter at its best. So I use the ghee butter. Typically, I see a lot of people where they'll, put a little bit of salt on there. I don't ever use salt, ever. A lot of stuff that we cook or use already has enough sodium in it, and I have just trained my taste buds to not want a bunch of salt. And I don't like cleaning up a whole lot either, so I'm using this. I only had a little bit of ghee butter left in this bottle, so I need to be cute about it. I put the whole bottle in the microwave, warmed it up, and then this is what I'm doing. So this is a mixture of the ghee butter, and I'll show you when I finish it. And then I have a little bit of Tuscan herb olive oil, and this is a Parmesan and basil olive oil mix. So ghee butter, Parmesan, and basil. It's going to give it just the right amount of flavor. This is being paired. Now, I usually season my cabbage steaks to align with whatever that I'm cooking. These cabbage steaks are going to be going with chicken breast, stuffed with broccoli and cheese. So because it's going to be on top of broccoli and cheese, chicken breast, then I wanted to have kind of like a little bit of a basil cheesy flavor. So, all right. So that is that. And then what I'm going to do is I am just going to sprinkle a little bit of this is a Pecorino. This is a little bit of a Pecorino cheese on top. So when it cooks in it, you already have the flavor from that. It's going to cook right into it. And this is going to give it just a little bit more flavor, taste to it. Now, what I'm going to do once I finish this, like I said, I'm going to put it in the oven. The oven's been warming for probably about 10 minutes now. And I have it on 425 degrees. And I'm going to put it in there. Let it cook for about 5 to 8 minutes on one side. Like I said, I don't want it to get too overcooked because it's going to go in a meal. So it means when they warm it up, they're going to cook it again. So I don't want it soggy. And you see, I try to keep all of them about the same size. Like I said, I needed about, I forgot how many I said I needed. I don't care. All right. Did that, and I'm just going to go back over all of it again with a little bit of this. Now, I also have a basil spray, which I'm going to top that with that one too. Hold on, I'm going to go grab that. Extra virgin olive oil, basil spray. So I'm going to spray. So this is a Parmesan and basil infused olive oil. So I use this. I use ghee butter. And then I'm all the way out. I use the Tuscan herb. I actually use olive, the wood smoke is olive wood smoke and the Tuscan herb. So I kind of mix all those together. I am just a smoked paprika fan, so I put just a hint of smoked paprika with it. But I put it all in my little butter bowl, butter glass, and I coated it, and then I topped it with a little bit of Pecorino Romano cheese. This is going to go perfect with the Parmesan and the basil. And then I sprayed it with the basil spray, just so it doesn't get dry. I set my timer for 6 minutes. In 6 minutes, what I'll do is I'll check the tenderness of it, and then I'll flip it over, and either I'll do the other side for an additional 6 minutes, or either I'll do it for 4, give or take. Once again, because most of them are about the same size, then they should cook evenly, except for the ones that are really, really small. So when it's all done, I'll pull it back out again and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the final. It was actually not all of the final. Some of them, even though I tried to make sure I cut them all around the same size, the tenderness of some of them weren't where I wanted. So basically what I was looking for is being able to poke through it. And so it's not too tough but not too soft. You know, when you cook cabbage too much, you can get really, really soggy. I don't like my cabbage soggy. Some people may. You may like yours soggy, I don't. But I'm going to take this little small one. So I actually pulled half of them out, and the other half actually left in the oven, and I'm going to let it cook maybe for about 5 more minutes. Now, when I said about 6 to 7 minutes per side, I don't know where I got that from. This actually took about maybe 30 minutes. And give or take, some were ready sooner than the other ones. But now, because what I'm looking for is it just kind of falls apart. Now you can just kind of cut this like a steak, or you can eat it kind of like it is. Let's see. Like I said, I don't want it soggy, but I don't want it too tight. Okay. I'm feeling that. Yeah, so this is Pecorino. Pecorino cabbage. Perfect. You have just enough cheesy taste, but not overpowering, because you don't, who likes cheesy cabbage? But then you have the basil, and then just a hint of a little bit of the garlic and the ghee butter all with it. It's a perfect blend. Like I said, this is going to be paired with the stuffed chicken breast that has broccoli and cheese. So that's why I kind of put the cheese on it. Now, you can also do this with like barbecue, or put like a little bit of the smoked paprika with it when you're doing barbecue. So season cabbage will take on whatever flavor that you do. So season your cabbage to align with whatever your meat entree is. But that is how I make my Pecorino cabbage.